Okay, so this video is all about lies that the mainstream tells men about women, about dating, things like this. All right, let's go. The first lie is just be yourself. And the funny thing is, while this is the first lie, it's also true at the same time as well. Now, let me explain what I mean. When the mainstream says just be yourself, what they mean is the regular people-pleasing version of you that you are. Just continue to do that, and then that's what women are gonna like. But the thing is, if you've been watching, or if you are watching this video and you're at least aware of what's going on around you to some degree, you realize that that actually isn't what works. You realize that how many days have you been on where you have been just being yourself, right? You've just been the guy that you be around women and around people, and it doesn't seem to work. You're a nice guy, you're a lovely guy, you're a fantastic guy. You are going to make some woman really happy one day. How many times have you heard that? You're gonna make some woman really happy one day. And it's like, yeah, there's some woman who's gonna want you, but not me. Don't put your dick anywhere near me. Your penis goes anywhere near me, I will throw up, I will hurl. That is disgusting, but some woman will want you in your penis. So here's the thing. So it's like, oh, just be yourself. Right? Well, what the hell's going on? But what the mainstream should be meaning when they say just be yourself is to actually be yourself. Meaning, who is the version of you that you are when you're with your mates, your friends, and you're taking the piss out of them. And you're taking the piss. You're having fun. You're laughing at them. You're teasing them. That sort of thing. Who is the version of you that really exists? So when she does stuff that you don't like, who is the version of you that really actually exists? Who is the version of you that lives inside your head that doesn't actually come out into the world? It's actually that, right? It's that. So in terms of what the world sees, just be yourself isn't actually being yourself, because it's being a version of you that most of the world doesn't think exists. Be yourself means to actually be you. Mainstream will have you believe that being agreeable is good. You know, like he's a nice man, he's pleasant, and he doesn't rock the boat and things like this. But boat rocking is really great. Women want a man that, here's what I really want. I want a man who's like, this is me, this is what I stand for, and I'm not wavering from that in any way. Like, this is me and my values, whatever that is. And that's why, like, women like bad boys, right? It's like, oh, he's such a bad boy. But you see, to be a bad boy, you have to stand on a principle. And what's the principle? Being bad. But it doesn't really matter what principle you stand on. It's the act of standing on the principle that is inherently attractive. So just be yourself means that. That's why women go for bad boys, because a bad boy is just being himself. It's like, look, I'm not one of these guys that's going to marry you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take you around the world. We're going to have wild, rampant sex. We're going to do all sorts of drugs together. We're going to drink until the early hours of the morning. We're going to ruin each other's lives, or I'm going to wreck your life. Standing on a principle. And the crazy thing is, so like younger women will go, oh yeah, amazing. Like back when I started this channel, I would ask women like, oh, would you rather be with a guy who was really exciting but toxic, or a man who was boring but stable? And the younger women always went for the exciting and toxic guy, because he's standing on principles and that has an interesting energy. The older women would always want the boring and stable guy. But here's the thing. The older women who would prefer the boring and stable guy to the exciting and toxic guy, well, they're still attracted to the exciting and toxic guy. They've just learned that that guy isn't the best guy to be around, if you see what I mean. And the point I'm trying to make is that that guy who is boring and stable is just being what the world wants him to be. Being Ned Flanders, being Hank Hill from King of the Hill. That's who he's being. Be agreeable. Be nice, be courteous, make money, don't rock the boat, make everybody happy with me, boom. And it is nice, but it's not particularly inspiring, whereas the bad boy does not give a crap. Now, if you just be yourself, you are naturally going to inhabit some bad boy energy. A lie that the mainstream tells you about women is that looks don't matter. Like, you'll often get a lot of women saying things like they like a man with a dad bod. And it's like, no, they actually don't. Right? Looks do matter. Now, they don't matter that much. They don't. So if you're a man, your looks aren't the most important thing about you. The most important thing about you is your confidence and your status. But they actually do matter. And it's like, let's say you got a woman who's like, oh, I like a man with a dad bod. Here's what she's actually saying. What she's actually saying is this. If I meet a man who is ripped with a six-pack and a chiseled physique, I need to keep up that ripped six-pack and chiseled physique to look good next to him. I feel insecure next to that man. Ergo, I feel better with the man with the dad bod because I feel comfortable next to that. But if you was to say to like an average woman who would say that she would prefer a man with a dad bod, okay, well, look, let's say this. You're going to go to Jamaica for a holiday vacation. While you're on holiday in Jamaica, you're going to meet a man and you're going to have a night of rampant sexual activity with this man. How do you want that man to look? She ain't going to pick the dad bod. She's going to pick a man who just looks incredible. So no, looks do matter. But here's the thing as well. Here's the thing. But like, your looks aren't actually just about your looks. It's not just like, oh, the state of your face or your body, although that is actually it. It's like everything, as in, how do you dress and how groomed are you and things like this. Like, for instance, this chain I'm wearing here is part of my looks. These earrings are part of my looks. The fact that I cut my hair today before coming here is part of my looks. Also, my muscle is part of my looks. Yeah. The fact that I have creamed my skin is part of my looks. It all actually adds up and it all plays a factor. But the idea that looks don't matter is actually a load of rubbish. And the idea that you shouldn't care about the looks of women is a load of rubbish as well, because everybody cares. And here's a lie about the mainstream, actually, mainstream lie. They're like, now this isn't really about men attracting women per se, but still, it's something that doesn't make sense. So, man and a woman can be together, right? And a woman might let herself go. And she lets herself go because she's like, well, you know, I'm in a relationship and you should just love me anyway and blah, 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 right? Now, one reason or another, that relationship ends. Maybe it ends because she let herself go, or maybe it ends for a myriad of other reasons, but it does, right? And that relationship ends. And if at some point during that relationship, the husband was like, hey, like maybe you should get into shape, I'm not that attracted to the way you look, she would lose her temper, get offended, etc. Once the relationship ends, what does she do? Get back into shape. Why? Because she realizes she isn't going to attract another man by looking the way she is, or at least not the man that she wants. So he's like, oh, I got to get in shape to attract a new man. And people do this a lot in relationships. I'm getting slightly off topic, where they basically go, yeah, so I've actually got the person now, so why do I need to try? Like, I remember I was having a conversation with someone once, right? I was with a couple. I'm not going to say who, but I was with a couple. And I was speaking about the fact of when you're with someone, you should still make an effort, not necessarily with the way you look, it's just like in general, right? Like, make an effort to continue to be impressive for your partner. And the man I was speaking to, this was like a couple, they were in a relationship, but the man was like, well, why do I need to do that? I've already got her. Why do I need to do that? And then I was like, so she doesn't cheat on you. Funnily enough, right? The woman was like, wow, Kieran, you're wise beyond your years. This was some time ago. You're wise beyond your years. Anyway, turned out that the man in that equation was being cheated on by the woman in that equation, and their marriage didn't last much longer. She was cheating on him at that point for the reasons that I'd brought up, which is that he had let himself go. But yeah, I know I've gone slightly off topic, but that did need to be said. Being nice is enough. Dearie me, dearie me. So this is one of the weird things, right? It's like something I often say to women that I interview is like, what are you attracted to in a man? And they say stuff that is true. They'll say a man that respects them, that has his shit together, they have a good time, things like this. But they will rarely say a man who challenges me and puts me in my place. They rarely say that. And the crazy thing is, that's something that they really want. But the thing is, we live in a world where the society, the mainstream, like tells you these lies about what people are attracted to and what people should be attracted to as well. And women should be attracted to a nice man. And it sounds really nice. You know, you watch a rom-com, and in the rom-com, there's like, I don't know, there's a bad boy that the woman's kind of into, and there's a guy who's like quite nice and sweet. And then the nice and sweet guy wins her off the bad boy. It's like, oh, that's so sweet. Oh. But in the real world, being nice isn't what's going to grip a woman at all. And you actually know this. You really do. Being nice is too agreeable. Now, here's the thing to look at, right? What is something that women want from a man? So, from what I've seen, women want a man who is better than them, who can look after them. Okay? I was with a woman today saying like, men are providers. She wants a man to provide, make her life better, and things like this. But you see, here is the thing. You know, when like you're being nice, most people aren't nice for the reasons that they say they're being nice. So on the surface, being nice is like, hey, I'm just a nice person and I want to do what's right by everybody. And that's why I'm being nice. This is just me naturally exuding my niceness. But it's not actually that. It's actually like, I am people pleasing. I am trying to make you like me. It's like, why are you trying to make me like you? Oh, because I don't think that if I try to make you like me, that you will like me. And I don't think I'll get what I want. I don't think I'll be okay. So I've got to try, because for me to feel okay and to be complete, I need you to like me. But it's like, all right, think. So animal kingdom type stuff, right? Let's forget the thin veneer of society that we have, which tells us that we are separate from our animalistic roots and our primal origins. But you're a woman, you're on a desert island or so. I don't know, maybe this island's like the size of, I don't know, a city or something like this, but you're on an island. And there's a few men that you can like shack up with. And one man is quite primal dominant and get shit done his way or the highway. And the other guy's just like very nice and agreeable. Which guy would you want to be with when shit hit the fan? Either because there's a lion or a tiger that's approaching, there's some random tribe that are trying to kill everybody, there's a storm and homes have been destroyed and now we have to figure out how to build new homes or something like this. Like something goes wrong. Maybe you have broken your leg and you need to be carried somewhere to safety. Which kind of guy do you want to be around? It's not going to be the nice guy. It isn't. It's going to be the man with the fire to say, this is actually what we're doing. And that is inside women, whether they want to admit it or not. Whether they want to admit it or not. And I've lost count of how many times I've actually said this, but it's so true, right? It's so true, which is the one area of society where women are allowed to openly say what they're actually attracted to is in erotic fiction. Because erotic fiction is written by women. Let's say like romance or sex or things like this that are kind of aimed towards women in society. You've either got rom-coms or you've got erotic fiction. Rom-coms are basically written by male writers for the most part, right? And rom-coms, you always know, there's like a guy is a little bit shy, is a bit nerdy, and there's a woman, they get together, it's a bit awkward, blah, blah, blah. They fall in love, it's sweet, it's tender, cool. That's what everybody knows, right? And that's like the general standard for what people think exists in society. Erotic fiction is woman meets a man. The man is absolutely like incredible, scares her in a way, intimidates her. He radiates his powerful energy. He's not a particularly nice man. They don't like have a pleasant relationship per se, but it grows, the tension grows and it builds and builds and builds until we have an explosion. That is written by women for women. When women are writing that stuff, they're literally saying, hey, ladies, would it not be really exciting if this happened? Wouldn't it be really hot if this happened? That's why they're doing it. That's literally why. And point is, if you look at that stuff, you will see that the man is never nice. And that's what's really getting women going. Really. Like, it's not to say you got to treat them badly, but it's like, be your own person. You're being you. This is me. This is who I am. I'm moving in that direction. You follow? Last one, masculinity is dangerous. So, I mean, that's kind of tied to the last point. But if you really pay attention to the mainstream, it's doing what it can to remove that primal urge from men and make us all very, 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 very civilized. But that primal urge is what women want. For instance, in that last one, right, like speaking about the erotic fiction, those men have the primal urge, and that's what gets them going. So it gets them going. No woman wants to be with a nice man when she's attacked. No woman. Like, for instance, like, yeah, we're all nice, we're all civilized, blah, 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 and everything's equal, right? Everything is equal in society. Gender roles are terrible, aren't they? Gender roles are so bad. But if you're at home with your girlfriend or your wife and then somebody breaks in, 100% of the time it is on you to go and solve the problem. And they all think that way. I remember once, it's only happened to me once, but I was at university, I was at university a long time ago. And I'm in the bedroom with my girlfriend and someone broke in basically. So my girlfriend at the time lived with about 5 other girls. And none of those girls liked me or my girlfriend for whatever reason. But here's the point. So I'm in the bedroom with my girlfriend. We're just doing whatever. Then somebody breaks in. When the other girls realized that somebody broke in, they all ran to our room screaming, banging on the door for me to go and check it out. Kieran, male that we don't like. Even though we don't like you or your girlfriend, it is your job and duty as a man to risk death to protect us. Now, whether or not you think that's right or wrong, I mean, this is the point, right? Like, this is what they all actually want and respond to. And by the way, when I did go up there was nobody in the room as well. So like some guy had gone in, grabbed a girl's laptop and then like climbed back out. But boy, that was terrifying, right? I remember like I had like a stick or something and like I go into this bedroom. I've got no idea what the hell I'm going to see, but there was nobody there. But you do know. You've been around women and you've seen like there's been times when you've kind of laid down the law and they were quite attracted to that, where you were decisive, they were attracted to that. You know they like it when you plan dates. You know they like it when you pull them in close, going for the kiss. You know they like it when you stand up for yourself and like enforce a boundary. You do know that. You know they like it when you let the animal out in the bedroom. You know that. So here we are. So masculinity is not a bad thing. It's like, say, masculinity is what would have had me defend that home from that intruder if the intruder was actually there. That's masculinity. Masculinity is what built the freaking world. I saw a YouTube video where this guy was basically saying, all right, here's what effectively happens. So there's men and there's women, right? And then men create society which acts as a perimeter to protect women from the elements, as in like nature and animals, lions, tigers, predators, etc. Which is more or less it, right? So like if you look at society now, right? So we've got sewage, we've got transport, you know what I mean? We've got stores, like think of like the backbone and infrastructure of society. That's basically men that maintain it, isn't it? It's like the reason why we have cars and can drive everywhere is because men are working in oil rigs to get the oil that we all use to power society. Most of those really hard but necessary but unsexy jobs are performed by men. You remove men from the equation and then it's going to be a very, very, very uncomfortable existence for women. If you see what I mean. Maybe they could figure it out. I'm sure they could. But most women don't want to work on an oil rig, do they? You see what I mean? So there's nothing wrong with masculinity. It's a great thing. Essentially, it's like this, man. Like the world tells some lies. It really does. And if you pay attention, you'll know and you'll see and you'll realize. You know that the things that you see the things that you're told don't gel with what you see. You're aware. You know that when you're watching a movie and a man and a woman kiss, it's always a woman who makes the first move. Always. Tell me a time when you've seen a movie where a man and woman kiss for the first time and it wasn't the woman who made the first move. Like, why is that? Why is that? We're being kind of lied to about a bunch of things. And if you are tired of being lied to, then you've come to the right place. But at the same time, you don't want to be lied to, but you also don't like the red pill environment where it's like women are the enemy. Like, there's no enemy. Men aren't the enemy, women aren't the enemy. We're like two halves of a whole. I was on a date with a woman the other day who said, I absolutely love men. Those women exist. The women who would say, I absolutely love men, do exist. You will find that the majority of the women on this platform love men, or at the very least like them. I don't have women on this platform who are like, oh, I hate men. No. They appreciate what men bring to the table. If there's something I found, it's about sitting alone with yourself, sitting alone with myself, and actually paying attention to what's going on in here and what I can actually see around me, rather than just believing blindly everything I'm told in the media or even on a YouTube channel. Like, don't just sit and listen to me blindly. Like, sit and have a think about what I'm saying and if it actually resonates, you know what I mean? But if it does resonate with you, then for the love of God, welcome to the tribe. If it does, because there's an opposition. And if you want to get one over on the opposition that are doing everything that they can to prevent you from being the best version of yourself, then welcome to the tribe. If you would like a book that will really change your life, that book is called The Recovering Nice Guy. How to attract women without PUA tricks and sleaze and things like this. You know, we're not red pilled, we're not blue pilled, we're purple pill. Like the synthesis, man, like of what works from both. Anyway, that's what this book is about. It will change your life. There's a link in the description. Do like and comment and subscribe. Let me know what you think. And goodbye, good day, see you later.